Welcome to this next video. And first off, I just want to congratulate you on launching your first website. If you've gone through the previous videos, you should have followed through how to build your website, and you've launched that first version of your website. So again, congratulations. Why don't you give yourselves a pat on the back, because that's a big task and a big accomplishment, and great job. Now, it's one thing to launch that website. It's another thing to start making sales. And so I know that's what you're anxious to do, so let's get to it and talk about the system that I use of how to take my website from where it is now, when I've just launched it, to converting to that 1 to 2% conversion rate that I need it to be at in order to really drive a bunch of traffic to the site. So let's go through that system, or that process that I use every single time I launch a new website. So I call it the optimization system, optimizing your website for sales. Step 1 is to launch version 1.0 of your website. Now I use the terminology version 1.0 because that's a software term, meaning there will be future versions of this website. Just like with software, when you have version 1.0, it indicates there will be version 2.0 and 3.0. Now you have to understand one thing. Version 1.0 means not perfection, means good enough to sell. So we need to make our website good enough to sell, just get a basic generic version out there, and then make changes and adjustments according to what our customers have to say, because they're bottom line, they're the ones that tell us if we've got a good website or not. So once the site is launched, once it's out online, we then need to generate some initial traffic. We will need to get some traffic to our website. And my initial goal would be about 100 visitors per day, more or less. Okay, so we need to drive 100 visitors more or less per day. And in phase, here in the subsequent videos, I'm going to actually show you specifically how to get 100 visitors per day. I'll show you the exact steps that I use, how to generate those 100 visitors a day. Okay, step 3 is to create a baseline of your KPIs, or key performance indicators, key statistics. Really the emphasis behind step 3 is look at the stats. Step 4 is to, we've looked at the stats now, it's not converting at that 1 to 2%. Now what I want to do is start brainstorming ideas to test for my site. There's really 3 categories in which I'm going to brainstorm: conversion rate, average order size, and then raising our prices over time, but adding value to those prices as well. Step 5 is to take these ideas I've brainstormed and implement them into the site. And then step 6 is ongoing testing. I'm never going to stop testing. I will continually test throughout the life of my website. So that's it. That's the 6-step system that I follow every single time I launch a new website. I get it live, get some traffic, create a baseline or look at the stats, and then start brainstorming ideas of what I can improve, implement those ideas, and then just continually testing. So let's break down each one of these steps a little bit further. Step 1, we said, was to get version 1.0 of your site on the internet. So really there's 3 things you need to have to launch your first version of your website. Number 1 is you need your pages. I want you to get those necessary pages that we talked about on your website. Then add your products to your website. And then the ability to accept payment, and you're good to go. Put it live on the internet. Once you have pages, products, and ability to accept payments, get it live. I don't want to belabor that point, but don't get stuck in what we call analysis paralysis, where you're overthinking and trying to reanalyze and rethink what your website looks like. No, just get it live, then ask your customers what they like, which is step 2. Get some initial traffic to the website. Here's how the step-by-step process that I would do to get 100 visitors to my website per day. I'm going to go to the Google keyword tool. I'm going to research out 1,000 keyword phrases. Okay? Using that reverse search tool or the Google keyword tool, they will help you come up with 1,000 keyword phrases, which in a subsequent video I'll actually show you how to do that, so you may want to see that. I'll put a link to that video somewhere here in the content page. But get 1,000 keyword phrases. I'm going to take those 1,000 phrases and I'm going to plug them into smaller pay-per-click search engines. And as a review, a pay-per-click search engine is you are paying that search engine every time you get a click. So I'm taking those 1,000 phrases, I'm plugging them into the smaller pay-per-click search engines. Okay, and then I can use this free traffic methods here if I absolutely wanted to, but it's going to take quite a bit longer. Okay. So I'm telling you to do this 100 visitors per day using paid traffic, but understand it can be done with free traffic. It's just going to take a little bit longer. All right? So just know that. I want to manage your expectations. And then it may take more than one paid search engine for you to reach those 100 visitors per day. So we're going to take those 1,000 phrases. We may have to put it in 1, 2, 3, or even 4 small pay-per-click search engines to get those 100 visitors a day. Now, in the subsequent video, again, I'm going to actually show you how to do these paid search engines and the rules you've got to follow. So just know that that's coming, but I want you to go in, and that's how you get your traffic. I'll try to put some links. I'll put some links below this video or on this page to those other videos as well. And then number 3, step 3, is to create a baseline. And that's, again, looking at your statistics. So you've got to make data-driven decisions, meaning you're making decisions based on facts, based on data, not guessing. Everybody else guesses. You are going to make your decisions based on data and based on facts. Okay? So you need to know your key performance indicators, your KPIs, your key statistics for your website. Now, you want to know your daily traffic. What are your KPIs? It's your daily traffic. And then to start off with, it's your conversion rate. What is your conversion rate at? And then your average order size would also be one of your KPIs. So let's understand the concept of a baseline, though, before we move on. The concept of a baseline is this. When I publish my website, I want to look at my daily traffic, and I see my daily visitors are at 100 visitors a day, and I want to look at my conversion rate, because I'm worried about conversion rate first, because I cannot increase my average order size of my on my site if I have a conversion rate of 0%. That goes without saying. But so I'm looking at my KPIs. I've got 100 visitors, and let's say I have a 0.4% conversion rate. So I need to brainstorm ideas of what I can do to improve my site. So I'm going to brainstorm, and I come up with adding customer testimonials. So I add customer testimonials to my website, and then I'm going to let it sit for a period of time, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. And then at the end, I'm going to come back and measure what my conversion rate is. And you'll see, hey, I've got a daily visitor still of 100 visitors, and I've got my conversion rate at 0.7%. So we know that we had a 0.3% increase in our conversion rate. So we went up to 0.7% from 0.4%. So I know that this was a good change, and I want to keep it. Had it gone the other way and decreased, I would remove that change from my site. Okay, so we've got that 0.4%. We've created our baseline. Now we know we need to improve our conversion rate to 1 to 2%. So what I want to do is I need to brainstorm ideas of what can I do to increase conversion rate. Okay, so again, we're going to focus on the current category that you're testing. I told you there's 3: conversion rate, average order size, and raising price. But again, we can't improve the average order size until our conversion rates improve. So let's focus there first. All right. So conversion rate is the current one, then average order size, like I said, and then raising the price. But how do we come up with ideas? So I need to improve conversion rate. How do I come up with these ideas? Okay, we're going to review the video training course. These videos that we put together for you and the content, I want you to review these videos because they've got ideas in there to help you improve your conversion rate. And we'll have videos specifically on what we call conversion rate optimization. Okay, consider weaknesses of your site. Look, nobody wants to admit that they have an ugly baby. You know, I get it. You've put time into your websites, you put effort, blood, sweat, and tears, and it takes some emotional distance to be able to accept somebody's criticism. So when somebody criticizes your website and maybe doesn't think it's as good as you think it is, it's okay. Have some emotional distance and take what they're saying, you know, for what it's worth. And then review your competitors. This is a great way to come up with ideas. Know who your competition is, and I would even go as far as copying your competition. I'm not telling you to copy and paste their website, don't get me wrong. What I'm telling you is if they've got great ideas, copy those ideas. Here's an example. When General Motors came out with employee pricing, you know, within a week you saw every car company offering employee pricing. They didn't sit back and go, dang it, General Motors had a great idea, but we can't copy them. They said, no, that's a great idea, and we're going to do it too. And so every car company on the planet had employee pricing because General Motors had come out with it. So know your competition, copy your competition. And then ask your target market. Be involved with your customers. Be involved with your target market, and ask them what they like and what they dislike. Excuse me. And I'm going to show you some ways in which you can do that. But ask your target market what they like and what they dislike, and then put that into your website. Now, once we've come up with these ideas, we've brainstormed these ideas, we need to plug them into our website. And this is the process of the system that we use to plug them into our website. So we start plugging in our ideas into our website, and there's a testing process that we go through. Okay? Now that testing process is, step 1, we've got those 100 visitors a day. Right? We already talked about that. Step 2 is I'm going to insert my test, whatever the idea is, like we showed in the example before. It was customer testimonials. So I plug in some customer testimonials on my website in step 2. In step 3, I'm going to wait until about 500 to 1,000 visitors have seen my change. Once about 500 to 1,000 visitors, anywhere in between that. And if it's 100 visitors a day, that's somewhere around a week's time period. Once they have seen my changes, I can make a good decision based on that traffic. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to review my stats, and I'm going to determine what they are, and I'm going to compare them to the baseline. So if I was at 0.4% and now I'm at 0.7%, we know that was a good change. I'm going to record those changes. Now this is very important. I want you to all go get a journal, a hardbound journal, and I want you to write down everything you do as you go through this process of making a website and creating your website and having it make money for you. So go back into this journal and record those changes, record it against your baseline, and then rinse and repeat. And you're going to start this process over again, because again, remember, we're testing one thing at a time. If you test too many variables, you don't know what works. So let's say I start at a 0.4%, I changed 3 things, and my conversion rate went up. Well, who's to say that 2 of the things didn't help, or excuse me, 2 of the things helped my conversion, and 1 of them actually brought me back down. So I ended up at a 0.7%, but I could have been at 1%. But one of the 3 things brought me back down. Now, which one was it? You have no idea, because you tested too many variables at one time. So that's it. 100 visitors. Plug in your test. Wait for 500 to 1,000 visitors to see that test. Review the stats. Compare it to your baseline. Record that in your journal and start the process over again. If you do that, you're going to, over time, get that 1 to 2% conversion rate by following this process. Finally, step 6 is just ongoing testing. We're never going to stop testing our website. We'll continually test throughout the life of our business. It's kind of funny how the internet works, but you're in a very front-end loaded process. Okay, so like I said, we never stop testing. But you won't have to test as much 2 years from now as you will in the next 6 months to a year. But understand, you will still be testing. But know that this is a very front-end loaded process. I mean, this is where you're at right now. Like I said, you're going to be putting in all this time. You've got a lot to learn. You're learning how to use a computer for some of you. You're learning how to build a website. Right? This is your first time maybe building a website. You're learning all these videos. You're going through all these videos and trying to digest and understand everything you're learning. Luckily, you can come back and watch these videos and review as many times as you need, which is very important to the process, is to continually go back and review these videos. But you're in a very front-end loaded process, which is kind of like an uphill climb. Once you've done all this work, it's going to start to, your learning curve, frequently testing, frustration, mistakes, you're going to make them, just understand. But then it starts to kind of self-run, and it starts to maintain, and it starts to just kind of, the work level isn't as much, the maintenance isn't as much, and that's really your ongoing maintenance and maybe customer service that you're running. But once you've hit that 1 to 2% conversion rate, it seems to kind of self-run. It just kind of runs on its own. You just have to do the maintenance and the customer service, make sure your site's online, and do that basic things that keep it going. And that could be 1 to 2 hours a week maybe to run that, make sure it's online. It takes 5 minutes. And answer the customer service emails maybe takes a couple hours a week. Right? So not very difficult there. But that's the 6-step system. That's the process that you use to get a site from where it's at now, you just launched it, to actually making money and going through the process of taking it from scratch all the way to converting very, very well.